This lesson, I want to go over how we can actually output some HTML. So previously, we've got that hello world, but let's turn this into adding in some HTML here. So just add in a line break, go over to our example, and we see that it actually doesn't render it out as HTML. It keeps it just as a regular string. So what happens if you actually want this as HTML? So here we can show you how we can add in a third curly bracket. So I'm just having a little bit of trouble with my editor here. So I believe that's 3 curly brackets. And I'm going to do another example here of the 2 curly brackets just to show you what the difference is. So we can actually specify how we want to render that out whenever we're using our HTML, and we see that that first one actually gets rendered out, that line break gets rendered out within the HTML, and then that other one with only the 2 curly brackets only gets that one piece rendered out. So we can really do some really cool stuff here because we can create some HTML on the fly. I'm going to add in some more data within this example, so let's just add in one called pass, and we're going to set it to either yes or no or true or false. So let's set this to true and create another line break here and show you what we can do with Vue. So we can do a check to see, we can add in some additional functionality here, so we don't just have to output it. We can do some really cool things with the values that we have here, so we can check to see if it's true, and if it is true, then we'll set it to this, and if it's not true, then we'll set it to not true or false, but we'll just keep it at that. And now whenever it evaluates that value for pass, we see that pass is true and it outputs it as true. So we can apply some logic there as well. And if we had something where we had a number, so let's say we had a count and our current count value was 4, and let's add in another line break, curly brackets, and we'll do count. But we can do some mathematics here, right? So we can add in count plus 5, and we'll show you what happens now with that output. So we get the not true because our value for pass now is false. So we can output it as indicated within Vue, and we can be applying some expressions bound to the data, and then also we can do calculations here right on the fly, and this is all done through Vue. And the really neat thing about Vue is that we can really do a whole lot of really neat stuff. We can change the IDs as well. So if we had an element here and let's say we want it to change some of these IDs on the fly, we could do that as well. So if we had another div here and it had an ID of my ID, and we want it to make it dynamic, so we want to have that value of count there for that ID. And maybe just output count within there. Get rid of that plus 5, and now I'll show you within that source code what's happening is here is that we automatically are updating the value. So we're binding any values within here, and there's really no limit to all the different really cool things that we can do, and where we can access Vue dynamically and update those values. And you can see here within our Vue extension that we've got still the values here within the root, and we've got value for count is 4, the my output has this as a value, pass is false, and we've got some information. And we can also, with this Vue extension for the dev tools, we can send it over to the console if we want, so we can actually get that object information, or actually it's over there, and we can also inspect the DOM as well, so we can flip through it just using that Vue tool as well. And this is really useful again when you're developing, as it gives you that detailed information right as you need it. In the next lesson, we're going to be looking at just more information and some really cool things that we can do where we can create some directives, work with some built-in directives, filters, built-in filters, and so on. So that's all coming up in the next set of lessons.